What did your job want you to hide from customers? My old boss invented a fake employee that he would blame all mistakes on when speaking with customers. Once in a while, he would tell the customers he fired that imaginary employee and then come up with a new name for a new imaginary employee that would be the new sucker. I work at a place that makes artisan French fries. For the last year or so, we've advertised plain old red potatoes as Laura potatoes, which are similar but 10,000x better. A red potato is red on the outside and white, starchy like a russet on the inside. A Laura potato is red on the outside and gold, buttery, smooth, all around awesome on the inside. It's implicit, but we're pretty much encouraged to just lie to people. We only got called out once when an actual potato farmer came to eat there. But other than that, we mostly get away with it. The injustice of it all. The cup of soup and bowl of soup were the exact same size. People would pay more for a bowl, and just get a cup of soup in a bowl that was shorter and wider at the bottom than the cup. At True Green they told us to tell customers rain won't wash away the liquid fertilizer and weed control we spray, but it does. A simple Google search will tell you. They also tell customers we can kill crabgrass and other grassy weeds. What they don't tell you is that when grassy weeds die, they don't wilt away. They turn purple, but they will still be there. I worked at McDonald's and they taught me how to pinch the fry carton just right while putting the fries into them so that it looked full, but actually wasn't. I only had one customer call me out on it. He shook the fries out into his bag and put them back into the fry carton himself, and it only filled up a halfway, so I had to give him more fries. I was impressed and embarrassed. It's been 7 years and I can still see his face. When I still worked there, Staples charged $160 for basically running Malwarebyte and CCleaner and called it virus removal. And I think most people know $160 was bullshit for that. But it was always the old people that got screwed with that BS. Former Geek Squad here. We weren't allowed to perform computer hardware installs in front of customers. Managers didn't want them to see just how damn easy it really is. Worked at a bakery shop where we told customers we sanitize the helmets we rented via heat treatment. Heat treatment consisted of having some sorry-ass high schooler run up to the top of the building, essentially the attic of this old wooden structure, and just leave them in boxes, or, if they were wet, hung from nails to drip and dry. I worked for 2 separate escape rooms. Everyone who didn't get out got really close. Usually we'll show you what you missed if there's only a few puzzles left. If we don't show you anything, it's because we didn't want to make you feel bad. I used to work in a jewelry shop that sold cheap Chinese shit silver, gold-painted plastic jewelry. None of it being real metal. But every sale I had to upsell one of these $5 polishing clothes. You can't polish a turd. The only thing this cloth did was rub the cheap paint off the plastic faster. I felt like such a con artist. A burrito chain that I worked at was on Undercover Boss. In the episode, the chain wouldn't let ABC show the fact that guacamole comes from avocado paste, not fresh avocados. Worked at a restaurant that also did catering. People would come in for tastings regularly for things like weddings, and we'd give them samples of some of our food. The big thing at these tastings was the cheesecake, which was made in-house to be served in the restaurant and was pretty great. What we didn't tell them was that for catering events, we bought pre-made cheesecakes instead. I think they were Marie calendars. Basically we'd sell them on our cheesecake, then give them something less good that was easier, cheaper for us. Honestly, we were stretching ourselves a little thin with catering. It was always a mess trying to get all the food prepared as well as run the restaurant. We had one chef who worked every single day and the waiters doubled as caterers. sometimes working long wait and catering shifts back to back. My erection. I work at a shoe store, and we recently got a shipment of clearance sandals, aka years-old sandals they had shoved in some warehouse. As I was putting them out, I noticed some had green stuff all over them. Mold. We were instructed by corporate to wipe it off and sell them anyway. Luckily my manager is sane and refuses to put out the moldy shoes. But still some sketchy shit. If something you eat says no added X, this means whatever ingredient X is, it has been added instead by adding an ingredient naturally high in that in lieu of adding it in its pure form. For example, if you've got something that says no added MSG, they likely threw a bunch of yeast extract in there instead, which contains plenty of MSG. Edit. A few people commented, and I fully agree, that MSG is not bad or dangerous by any standard unless you have an allergy. MSG makes food have better flavor and texture and doesn't make something less healthy. Except for the health effects of sodium in general. This is just an example. They do the same things with other, actually worrisome ingredients, such as sodium nitrite. I machine embroider shirts for different companies. If the stitching doesn't line up, such as an outline around the logo, and the colors allow for it, we have a bucket full of markers to recolor the thread, even going as far as coloring the shirt that shows through to make it look cohesive. The best ones are Sharpie or dry erase markers. Worked at a nursery. Plants, not babies, that sold Xmas trees in winter. We had to have 2 employees per customer in the lot at all times. One to talk to and distract the customer, the other to hold up the particular tree they were interested in and shake the rats out while said customer was distracted. Basically these people were buying $50 rat nests to put in their house. I worked in the vegetable seed industry. Some varieties that were exclusive to certain customers were just repackaged and renamed Seediv. An existing variety. If something was underselling, they just changed the name, rewrote the description and claimed it was a better sister line. It was always funny though when customers demanded the old line because the new one wasn't as good. We'd just shrug, change the label back to the old name and off it went. Worked for a shady computer repair company that took in electronic recycling. He would charge $1 an inch to dispose of old CRT monitors and then toss them into the dumpster. This was just one of the many shady things he did. Edit. A lot of the people are saying they'll just toss their stuff in the trash. Please don't. There are legit places out there that will dispose of electronics responsibly. Look for companies that are R2 certified. I worked at an art glass store that sold glass, mostly made in China with very few actual nice pieces. We were told to peel the "Made in China" stickers off. If anyone asked where the glass came from, we would say New Jersey, which is where the supplier was from. I always felt like Danny DeVito in Matilda changing the odometer on his used cars.